Good day everyone, I am Zarina Catalan, one of the reporter of Chapter 6, which is entitled Human Ecology and Succession, and my topic is all about ecological succession. Ecological succession is the process by which the mix of species and habitat in an area changes over time. These communities replace one another until a climax community, like a mature forest, is reached or until a disturbance like a fire occurs. There are two major types of ecological succession. First is the primary succession and secondary succession. Primary succession begins in a bare area where no life has existed. So this is succession begins a new habitat like organic ash, glacial deposit, and or the pioneer succession have high level of ecological tolerance because they tolerate that the different factors like in the volcanic ash they have a very high level of ecological tolerance. And in secondary succession, on the other hand, it follows disruption of pre-existing community. The disturbance like fire, withdrawn or lagging, and that recolonized by living things. So there is the disturbance like in the fire. So species must have the survival qualities, including environmental changes for another factor of succession. Another factor of succession, autogenic succession and allogenic succession. Autogenic succession is a term used to describe the result from change brought by the organism themselves. So if there's a change within the organism themselves, so that is autogenic succession. The change from abundant agricultural field to a mature forest is an example of an autogenic succession. So it talks about the lifespan of organism in the community. So all throughout the lifespan of an organism, even the community, how the changes that is autogenic succession. The next succession, on the other hand, is results from the factor external out the community. The principal change comes from the primary from outside the community, like climate change and massive disturbance. An example of this is the succession of phytoplankton communities that is present in the lake. So that is the example of allogenic succession. Here succession occurs in the time scale of that disturbance. So autogenic is the lifespan of an organism, while allogenic is as time scale of the disturbance. So there is a change. So that is the difference between autogenic and allogenic succession. Other succession in ecology, autotrophic succession and heterotrophic succession. Autotrophic succession begins in an inorganic environment and characterized by early and continued dominance by autotrophic organisms is what we call an autotrophic succession. So both primary and secondary succession are under in this type of succession, the autotrophic. So in heterotrophic succession, it is characterized by early dominance of heterotrophs. So predominantly it is an organic matter. For example, in a stream heavily polluted with sea, which her energy is maximum at first but eventually in the long run it gradually declines. So that is the difference between the autotrophic and heterotrophic succession. Three mechanisms by which species may replace each other have been proposed. The facilitation hypothesis states that invasion of later species depends on conditions created by earlier colonies. The effect of the earlier colonies to their environment, so that is the type of facilitation hypothesis. So second, the tolerance hypothesis suggests that later successional species tolerate lower levels of resources than earlier occupants. So here succession precedes the resistance of earlier colonies. So that is the tolerance hypothesis. The third, the inhibition hypothesis. Succession proceeds toward dominance by longer-lived species. So that is the three mechanisms by which species may replace each other.